Hello, my name is Joe Trier. This is How We Roll, and welcome to the Frozen North. It has been 2 years since the sun failed to rise. 2 years of terror and isolation because Icewind Dale has become trapped in a perpetual winter with no escape. To the south, ferocious blizzards make the mountain passes through the spine of the world unpassable to might or magic. To the west and north is the sea of moving ice, and to east, the mighty Reghead Glacier. No one gets in, and no one gets out. That is, until now. Our camera zooms in on a blazing ball of fire falling through the frozen sky, burning its way through the icy clouds. As it falls, it begins to break, the largest piece disappearing to the south and crashing into the mountains. But two smaller pieces plummet towards the icy tundra below. They land with a crash, superheating the permafrost and sending gouts of steam into the air. And for a long time, there is silence, only the crackling of freezing ice and the howling wind. Let us zoom in again on one of these frozen objects. It is white. Not white like snow, but white like bone or sinew. It has a strangely disturbing, organic look. With a sound like a breaking jaw, the capsule, for that's what it is, begins to open up, revealing the darkness within. And we see a human struggling to escape. Kuran, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you, Joe.
So, who are you playing, and what do they look like as they struggle out of this capsule half embedded in the ice?
I'm playing Graham Voss, who is a human rogue. He's stocky, clean-shaven, with shoulder-length hair. And he's sort of trying to struggle his way around and break free from this bony prison.
You pull your way out, and you look around. All your memories of the recent past are gone. All you can imagine is, all you can bring to mind is a nightmare of blood, fire, and confusion. But you look around yourself. You are in a seemingly endless tundra. You squint as the frigid wind burns against your exposed skin because you're not wearing cold weather clothes. You look down and you're dressed in very thin, almost like night clothes, or the strange material that you don't recognize. It feels strange under your skin. And the sky above is dark, gloomy.
So, what do I see immediately around me? Is there another capsule, or?
There is. So the wind is blowing around you and you are absolutely frozen. You maybe kind of push your hands under your armpits, try and warm up, and you stumble through the snow. Maybe about 30 feet away is another one of these capsules, but it hasn't opened smoothly like yours. This, it looks like whatever was inside has ripped it asunder with tremendous strength. And there is a trail heading off into the snow. Not footprints, but like something sort of dragging through. And it disappears over a rise.
Ooh. Do I see any signs of a town nearby, perhaps? Or like some faint light in the distance?
Well, if you climb a little bit up the rise and you find your feet sinking almost up to your knees in this snow, and you reach the top of this rise, and the trail continues on through the gloom, and you take in the view, or what little view there is, because the gloom makes it very difficult to see anything more than the dark sky above, the white snow around you, and this trail heading off in front of you into the darkness.
I guess I'm not going to survive too long in this sort of weather. So I hold myself in as close as I can, trying to retain whatever heat I've got, and I start marching towards this path.
Okay, so with every footfall, your foot sinks into the snow, making this crunching sound, and again you disappear up to your knees. The wind is howling around you, and you can feel yourself freezing. You look down at your hands, and they're beginning to turn a very, very unpleasant pale colour. And could I ask you to give me a Constitution save? So roll a d20 and add on any Constitution modifier you have.
I rolled a 4.
Okay, so I'd like you to take on 1 level of exhaustion. Mechanically, that means from now on, until you take a long rest and get some food and warmth, you'll be rolling with disadvantage on all your skill rolls.
Whoa. Okay.
You stumble and you suddenly look up. You're lying down and you feel warm. How long have you been lying down for? You're not sure. You push yourself up and you realize that you're dying, but moving towards you out of the darkness is a strange figure. It's less than a foot tall, and it looks like a mechanical egg or penguin, could it be? And behind it are 3 more figures. Owen, welcome to the show. Owen, do you want to tell us a little bit about your character as they arrive just in time to save Graham Voss?
Hello, folks. I'm Owen. I'm playing Zalfiz, who is a small 3'5" gnome artificer. He's kind of wrapped up in winter clothes, kind of fur-collared, white science coat, almost looking big, thick Ugg boots. He's kind of like almost 6 feet of like a spiked coif on top of his head with bandoliers of potions. And his little companion is Lady Penelope Guinevere, or Lady Penguin. And she is a small mechanical penguin that I've made.
Fantastic. And behind you, strolling through the snow, is Virginia. Welcome to the show, Virginia. Can you tell us about who your character is?
Yeah, hi. I'm Virginia. I am playing Kestra, who is a bounty hunter. She is wrapped up pretty well, nice and warm in her clothes. This woman of middling age. She's not a fan of the cold, and probably sticks out like a sore thumb with her very deep red skin against this icy backdrop.
Can I just hold you up 1 second? Earlier you told me that your character was 30. Is 30 middle-aged? Is that what he's 38?
For an adventure, maybe.
No, that's fair. Moving swiftly on. Niall, welcome to the show. Can you tell me about your character?
Hey, I'm Niall, and I am playing, my character, he's a furbug. He's an 8 foot tall, half giant, huge, scruffy beard, kind of messy hair, ice blue skin, pale blue eyes, wrapped in he's got a massive cloak that looks like it could be maybe a bear fur or something like that. And he's, just towering over the rest of the crew, looking down.
So the 4 of you have a mission, and you've taken a bit of a detour because you saw this flaming comet fall through the sky, and these 2 fireballs break away from it and fall not too far away from you. You followed the trail south until you found Graham lying in the snow before you. He is barely conscious at this point and clearly not dressed for cold weather. What do you do?
Hello, friend. We come in peace.
I can see he's freezing. I'd like to cast Bonfire as a cantrip just to put out and warm him up with, at least, create bonfire.
Okay, so what does that look like?
It's just a 5 foot square bonfire that can pop up. I'm not using it for any damage or anything. It's only for 1 minute, but it's just to warm him up initially while we kind of talk to him and figure out what he's doing here and what happened.
Okay, so Kuran, Graham, you begin to feel the warmth rush through you. I believe that at least one of you has a spare set of winter clothes, so maybe if you share that with him, that can help him beat this tired of freezing cold that's attacking him.
I feel like Kestra's probably the one that's got the spare clothes.
Maybe the only ones that would fit him anyway.
She's learned her lessons, and I think once the bonfire's up, I think she goes over. She's straight into mum mode. She's pulling out these warm weather clothes from her pack and kind of draping them around, and kind of not even like really saying hi, but just like, you need to get these on. You need to get yourself warm. What are you doing all the way out here? And it's just like fussing everyone else to kind of help him get into these clothes.
Yeah, I'll like pick him up quite easily.
I'm like, I put on these winter clothes and I huddle up close to the bonfire, and I'm like, I don't know how I ended up here. I think I've no memory. Where am I? Where is this?
Welcome.
No. Go.
So, welcome to the Icewind Dales. Where do you come from?
The Icewind Dales? Sure, I was only in Mirabar but a moment ago. Oh. What? Surely it can't be possible. What time is it?
Hard to tell. There's no sunlight. It's daytime. How did you get in? Nobody gets in or out of the Icewind Dales for the last 2 years.
Graham is my name, and I have no memory of how I've ended up here. I've simply woken up in this bone capsule, and I'm just trying to survive.
You should come with us. We're going to a town, and if you stay out here by yourself, you probably won't survive.
You will have absolutely no arguments from me. So, what is your name?
I'm gone.
Okay, yes. Nice. Pleasure to meet you, Gon.
So no memory of getting here then?
Absolutely no memory at all. I think I do know that there was people from Luskin who were attempting to trying to make it to Icewind Dale, but it's been locked off in the spine of the world. No one's been able to make it in here. What exactly is happening?
And what about your? And he points to like the broken up capsule. Friend?
I have no idea who was in the other capsule.
So, Zalfiz, as you say that, you see the trail leading away from the second capsule, and it's leading a direct line towards Dugan's Hole, which is your final destination. Whoever or whatever was in that capsule is heading towards the town that you're heading towards.
Maybe we can find who or what it was. It seems to be going in our direction.
Okay.
Right, guys? Are we to Dugan's Hole?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, that's where we've got to go and look next. That's what I'm paying you for, isn't it?
Just
Payment?
looking at... Sorry, Joe, looking at the tracks in the snow, is there any like idea of size or shape or nature of the tracks we can get from it?
The tracks are about a foot wide. You can see that straight away, and there's no kind of footprint. Whatever it is dragging or rolling itself through the snow. But if you want to give me a quick investigation roll as you look closer, that'd be great.
Thank God you picked an intelligence skill. Zalfiz rolled a 9. This is not of this world.
So you do notice something, and you dip your finger in it, and it comes away on your glove, and you're not sure if it's black or red or what, but whatever it is seems to be dropping a strange viscous liquid.
So
only in small patches, like just drips.
As I said, I've like a bandolier of like test tubes of different potions and stuff, and I'm gonna take an empty test tube and like scrape off whatever that viscous material is, and maybe look to analyze it later. I'm sure that won't come back to bite me.
Is anyone trained in survival?
I believe I am.
So as you look around, and you look particularly to the north, which is where the most of 10 towns are, You can see a storm brewing, and you think it's going to be arriving soon.
Okay. We should get moving. We've got a storm coming our way, and we don't want to be outside when that happens. And he'll start trudging through, following the path that's going towards Dugan's hole, as it is, just ahead of everyone, and kind of incline for them to follow.
Yeah, and I will follow.
Kestra will help Graham up. She'll wrap her tail around his waist and kind of put her hand underneath his shoulders to kind of support him.
Awesome. Thank you.
And he's not doing well, despite the winter clothes and the fire. He's going to need some healing. As you walk, it's going to be about an hour for you to get to Dugan's Hole. You've been travelling from Goodmead. To your right is the forest. There are a small number of forests in Icewind Dale, and Dugan's Hold and Goodmead are actually right next to one of them, where they get a lot of their fuel and building materials. To your left is the Redwater, the shallowest lake in all of 10 towns, and as you look across it, it is completely frozen solid. Before Icewind Dale became locked down, before the sun disappeared, this time of year the Redwater would have been completely water, no ice, and there would have been many ships fishing upon it, but right now all you can see is the endless snow and frost. As you walk this hour to Dugan's Hole, would you share your mission with Graham?
I think so. I think so. Like Zalfiz would be. Graham, good man. You didn't see any characters passing by. We're hunting for a criminal.
You're hunting for a criminal? Interesting. What exactly is this criminal wanted for?
So, don't let this scare you, but he may have murdered 3 people.
A murderer. Okay, yes.
I mean, he's going to have a case, I'm sure, until proven innocent or proven guilty and all that. But yeah, he more or less murdered 3 people.
So you people are bounty hunters?
Ooh, I like the sound of that. Maybe.
I think this is where like Kestra has kind of just been listening and trying to focus on getting Graham through the snow. She kind of perks up next to you. I'm the bounty hunter. I came across these wonderful fellows and hired them to help. It is cold and lonely out here by yourself.
I'm the brains.
Well, if you require another hand, I would be willing to do some work. I think I could certainly use the money. I have nothing, and I'm trapped in this place.
I see. Well, how does 25 gold sound to you?
It's definitely better than the current 0 I have.
I don't have it on me. I'm still waiting for my payment to share out, but you are more than welcome to a split of it if you want to join. That is,
Absolutely.
If the idea of catching a murderer doesn't put you off.
Well, yeah. I suppose there is, with no risk, there's usually no reward. So, yes, count me in.
Yeah,
And as you're having, this conversation, Dugan's Hole appears ahead of you. Like most of the towns in 10 towns, it's made out of houses with tall, very peaked roofs, so the snow can't gather on top. And they're also on stilts, so that the heat from within doesn't melt the permafrost. Dugan's Hole has a reputation for unfriendliness. It is the smallest and furthest away town of all of 10 towns, and I don't believe any of you have ever been there. As you get closer to the first house, you can hear the sound of dogs barking wildly. And as you step closer, you see 5 dogs in a cage next to one of these houses, and they're barking at something lying in the snow, not too far from them and the house that they're next to.
I think Kestra would probably want to go over and see what it is, because we know there's somebody else from another capsule, and her being the slightly mothering type wants to go and make sure that it's not a person laying down in the snow.
Mm-hmm.
The dogs are going absolutely mad. They're straining at their leashes and they're trying to scratch their way out of the cage. Lying in front of them is a corpse, lying face down in the snow.
Is it really obvious that it's like a corpse? Does it look like it's frozen to death, or is there injury?
That's a good point. No, from behind it's dressed in furs. It has its hood up, so you can't actually see any of its skin. Although actually, when you look closer, you see that one of its gloves has been removed and is lying near it, and its hand is strangely wounded, like the skin across the top of its hand has been abraded away or pulled away, revealing redness below.
I think Kestra grabs the body by the shoulders and just very carefully, not to entirely put it on its back, but kind of rolls it to see the state of the front of this person, if there's any obvious injury. She's looking for a stab wound. She's been described the weapon that this murderer they're looking for has used. She's looking to see if there's signs of that kind of ice knife that she has been told about. This is her instant thought that this is another victim.
So you roll him over, and it is a him, and there is no sign of wounds upon his abdomen, but his face is frozen in a rictus of horror and pain. His face is swollen and sort of blue and black, and his eyes are bulging out from his skull, and his cheek has another one of these wounds, where the skin almost looks like it's been torn away. It's slightly sort of leaf shape, the wound.
Am I able to tell what might have caused a wound like that? I mean, Kestra's going to shout for the others and say that she's found a body.
Yeah, if you have Arcana, you might be able to use this. If you have Survival, that might work as well.
I have Arcana.
Okay, give me that roll.
That is 19.
Nice.
So you've never come across anything like this, but you have read books about sort of strange abominations that have tentacles with suckers on the end. And that kind of wound would match this, where something has grabbed onto it and literally pulled away, taking the skin and part of the flesh with it.
I think when the others arrive, Kestra set the body back down as she found it and has stepped back, and she's immediately reaching for one of the daggers that she keeps at her side. Not to draw it, but just to keep her hand on the hilt.
And you all kind of have a feeling that you're being watched. It could just be complete paranoia, the fact that this town is in almost complete darkness despite being just after midday. The fact that these houses are sort of looming around you and there's a body in front of you and these dogs going absolutely nuts. But you do have a feeling that you're being watched.
Eoghan would like to go over and calm the dogs, just try to make them not be going so wild so that we're not drawing attention to ourselves as we're coming into this town. Considering we've just found a dead body upon entry.
Do you have a skill that you could use to do that?
Yeah, I'll use animal handling.
Okay.
Oh no, I rolled a nat 1.
Oh, God. Untitled dogs are first encounter.
Okay, so if anything, you have riled them up. So one of them actually is so angry now, it's strained on its leash and has pulled away from it, and it's broken the leash and is now jumping up against the wall of this cage, almost jumping as high as probably not your head because you are really tall, but right up against the ceiling of this cage, trying to get at you and trying to get out.
Oh man, I back away. I'm just like, oh no. And I'm gonna just not exactly hide behind everyone else, but go stand behind them so that the dogs don't have kind of a direct sight of me, because I don't want to rile them up anymore after my pitiful attempt.
God, you keep telling us you're good with animals, but I haven't seen any evidence.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
I think no matter what, we're going to draw some attention here. That is a corpse, by the way.
What is the MO of the murderer? Could this potentially be a victim?
Doesn't match the profile. We're looking for
Uses
somebody
knives
that...
made of ice.
Knives made of ice, they melt after a while. That victim, something else. Tentacles, maybe. Suction. Something's ripped the skin from its face.
Shoot.
Charming.
I'm gonna. I hate to be a bother, but I think I'm going to need somewhere to rest. I'm not going to be able to continue going like this.
That sounds like we look for a drink and maybe talk to some locals. Where could we do that?
So from where you stand, most of the houses look eerily deserted. But straight ahead of you, maybe 100 feet away, there is a much, much larger house. Maybe like 2 or 3 times as big as any of the others. And it's standing on a raised platform that goes out of sight to the left and to the right towards the Redwater, almost like a pier. And this could be the speaker's house. Now, all of you are natives of Icewind Dale, apart from Graham. And so you know that the speaker of Dugan's Hole is a lady called... Hang on. Is a lady called... Edgar Dermot.
She needs rebranding. Edgar what?
Edgar Dermot.
Okay. You won't butcher that.
We should move. We should move towards this building or somewhere in town. Eoghan picks up the body because he doesn't want to just leave a dead body just out in the snow next to dogs that will quite possibly eat him if they get out of the cage.
As Gon goes to pick up the body, am I able to just slip a hand into a couple of like the outside pockets? I want to see if there's anything of interest there before we hand this over, just in case this is related to what we're looking for.
Yeah, do you have an appropriate skill to do this? Otherwise it would be straight dex.
I guess.
Do you want to do it subtly, or do you actually just want to start looking through the pockets?
Oh, I'm just going to start looking through the pockets.
So motherly.
Yeah.
Well, you know, there might be an address, somebody we know.
What about boundaries, Mom? God. No.
Okay, so you do find 2 keys. So you don't need to give me a roll. You're just looking through pockets. So you do find 2 keys, a large one and a smaller one.
For the dog cage.
I mean, the keys themselves, do they look like the kind of keys that would be like they ornate or intricate, the kind that you get for like inside a house, or like a lockbox, or are they kind of like the rough kind that you get for like outdoor keyholes and things like that?
Yeah, so one of them's a padlock, which I guess could be the dog cage, and the other one is a larger key, which could be a house, although it's very, very basic. Like it wouldn't take even someone who wasn't very skilled a very long time to work this lock open.
Okay.
It'd be a bigger dog cage.
Let's hope not. Yeah, okay. Kestra's gonna hold on. I'm gonna hold on to those keys for a bit. She's not gonna like pocket them. She's gonna keep them in her hand. But she doesn't want them falling loose as we carry the body towards the speaker's house.
So how about... Oh, sorry.
No, go on.
Do we look for a tavern for Graham to get imbibe some invigorating fluid and some heat?
You definitely have my vote.
Okay.
I think we're gonna search for a tavern, I guess, then, Joe.
Yeah. Somewhere that we can, find some shelter anyway.
And some rumors and news.
So you start walking through the town, and again, these houses, although sort of similar in construction to the houses of the rest of 10 towns, they're much, much more basic. They really look quite rickety, and you do think they probably don't actually do a very good job in holding out the cold. You start looking out for sort of signs, maybe on outside of buildings advertising an inn or a tavern or a shop, but all of these look like homes, and they look quite deserted. You continue working your way towards the speaker's house, and as you get within about 30 feet, the door opens and a huge man exits. He's dressed in, as many of you are, animal skins. But the animal skins he's wearing is that of an Arctic bear, completely white, with the head over his head. And he looks around, and even at this distance, you can see that he's scowling at you.
Hello, good. Oh, sorry, go on. Sharon.
I was going to say, we're sort of stumbling. Can he see us quite clearly? How close are we?
Yeah, you're only 30 feet away.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sort of going to stumble up and go, "Sir, I'm very injured, and I was wondering if I could use your tavern."
He kind of sneers and laughs and goes, "Strangers aren't welcome here. Good luck to you." And he turns his back to you and makes to head away from your group and away from the speaker's house. And as he turns, you realise that over his back, he has one of these enormous knucklehead trout that 10 Towns is so famous for. 5 foot long, and he's just holding it over his shoulder as he heads off.
I think Kestra will probably call out after him. She kind of steps forward. Well, that's not very nice, is it? These strangers that have just come into your town have recovered a body that all of you seem to have missed in front of the dog cage back there. Do you know this man?
He doesn't even turn.
Points.
He doesn't even turn as he just begins to walk off. So he's about 20 feet away from you now.
Kess is going to turn to Zalfiz and just, in disbelief. Well, his mother didn't teach him any manners, did he? Did she?
No, it's a hell of a look, though. It's an interesting look.
I mean, yes, the bearskin pelt is actually quite nice.
So Joe,
John kind of looks the same. He has his own bearskin pelt, just a dead body over his shoulder rather than a trout.
Yeah.
He's like getting a bit
this guy
antsy.
came out of a door and is walking away from it. Is that what you said, Joe?
Yeah, so he came out of the speaker's house, and I think you sort of approached the speaker's house, and he's just walked away in the opposite direction. So where you are now is probably just a few feet away from this large door. And when you see the house itself, it does look slightly different. So not only is it much bigger than all the other houses that you've passed, but the permafrost under it is much, much more melted. So whereas under all the other houses it's white or icy, under here you can actually see sort of brown where the ice is almost completely melted.
Okay. Perhaps we should alert the authorities to the potential stabbing murder criminal in their town. Maybe they'll be more welcoming. And I kind of gesture to the speaker's house.
I agree. Kess will go back to Graham and kind of start helping him towards the speaker's house if that's where we're all going.
Yeah, maybe Gon, you stand at the back. Let's not lead with the dead body. Let's start with there's a murderer, and then we found a dead body.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you going to push your way in? Are you going to open the door? Or are you going to knock? How are you going to?
I thought the door was open, so we were going to kind of knock and call in, but I guess knock if it's closed.
So you hear a voice from inside saying, "I told you, I'm not buying your goddamn fish. Be off with you, Jake."
We don't want to buy any fish. Could we come in? We have somebody injured.
The door opens and a stern-looking lady, strangely not dressed in furs. She's actually dressed in a tunic and leggings, something that people in the south would wear, not something that anyone in 10 Towns would wear. And she looks you up and down with her piercing blue eyes and goes, "Strangers, what are you doing here in Dugan's Hole? Are you mad?"
Well, my name is Kestra, and these are some friends of mine in my employ. We're looking for somebody. I'm a bounty hunter. But we've also got somebody injured, and she indicates to Graham, and perhaps some unfortunate news for you too. Could we perhaps speak inside where it's warmer?
All right, come in then. The name's Edgar. I'm the speaker here. And she leads you in. And as each of you approach the door, and I guess as Gon ducks down to enter, you are hit with a tremendous heat. None of you have felt this heat in Icewind Dale at all. Nothing is this warm, nowhere. The room is large, probably about 50 feet. In the center of the room, there is a small iron stove. At least that's what it must be. But it's putting out this incredible heat. It's only about 2 foot in diameter, and there's a small glass porthole on the front. Although there's no flames within inside. You notice a number of dials and controls on the side. But whatever it is, I guess it must be a stove. That's what's heating the room. There's a number of trestle tables set up, and there's a few other people in the room. There's a frail elven man who kind of looks up at you with lidded eyes or half-lidded eyes, and he's being fed stew, which is pouring out the side of his mouth by a pale elven woman. And there's the speaker herself. Right, who's that? What? And she kind of like looks in panic as you go and lower this guy in front of her.
We found him as we entered the town. He was face down in the snow in front of a dog cage.
Oh, by Lathlander. That's June. What did you do to him?
Nothing. We found him like this.
You say, what are you doing in Dugantoll? No one comes here. We're too far away.
We got told that this might be somewhere that somebody we're looking for is coming to. We're looking for a man named Caltro.
And Caltro did this?
Murder.
We don't
So
know.
Caltro did this?
No, Caltro did other things. He may have done this, but it's not his modus operandi.
This looks like something else. And I'll indicate to the injuries on the corpse's face.
And she's kneeling down at this point, and she's touching his throat, which is swollen. His face is black and blue. And she goes, I think he's still alive. I think he's still alive.
What?
Look, he's breathing.
Gon is just like, no. He doesn't. Does he look like he's breathing now?
Give me a perception roll.
Ooh.
Or if you've got like medicine or something like that.
Oh, I've got medicine. Yeah, I can do that.
All of us are just for gun.
Just gone.
There we go. 14 plus 5. I got a 19.
Whoa.
Is that on your medicine?
Yep.
God.
It's not a 1.
Finally, a success.
You're almost sure that he wasn't moving and he was dead when you got him outside, but he is breathing. At least you think he is.
Not
Right,
dead.
bring him over to the table. We can help him. What you said you're looking for someone that did this.
We don't know, but somebody who has been accused of at least 3 murders, a man called Caltro. We have reason to think that he is perhaps somehow connected to the Frost Maiden. The victims in the last towns, we think they tried to cheat the lottery for the sacrifices.
We don't have a lottery here. We sacrifice our heat. We can't afford lives. There's not enough of us. Every night, not every night, but we have nights in the month where we don't light fires. We sit in absolute freezing cold as our penance to the Frost Maiden. But if he's in town, there's a few places he might be.
I don't think he did this, though.
What do you mean?
His weapon of choice are knives made of ice. This was caused by something ripping at the skin, something suctiony, tentacles, something like that.
And the speaker sort of turns round to the elven woman and says, can you help? We need to get a healer. Ina, would you head out and get her? And the elf woman sort of looks over to you and says, no, I can't. I need to stay with father. And the older man goes, what's going on? What's happening? And the elf woman goes, it's all right, father. Here you go. Take some more stew. And the speaker looks at you both and goes, right, well, if you're looking for someone and they're hiding out in town, there's a few empty houses by the lake. He might be there if he's anyone, unless he's broken in to someone else where they're inside. But could maybe one or two of you go and get the healer?
To save us time, Gon casts Cure Wounds on this dying person to bring them back.
How much do you want to roll the dice? So you don't need to roll anything to cast it, but how much does it heal?
It's 1d8 plus 3. So
Okay, can you give me that roll?
I did it.
1d8 plus 3 fixed face, does it?
1d8 plus 3. Where's the d8? There it is. So 5 HP he gets back. I got a 2 plus 3.
So how does your healing look? Because you're a druid, aren't you?
Yeah. As I kind of lay my hands down, it's kind of a faint bluish green light kind of comes from my hand, and I just rest it on his forehead, and you can see his skin start changing from like that cold, like blue frozen color to like start recovering some of the actual flesh-like color, and he starts, I guess, breathing more calm than maybe his like light breaths that he was doing as he was half alive, half dead.
So his face begins to become pale, and colour begins to come back into it. And he makes this sound, this... And it really kind of like hurts your ears for a second. It's this scratching, horrendous, unnatural sound that he shouldn't be able to make. And then his face begins to blacken again. And for a moment, you felt you'd cured him. And then he's still again, like a corpse, barely breathing.
Have I ever seen this happen to someone? I've ever seen this, like, I guess a body react this way?
You can give me a religion roll, or if you have Arcana.
I don't think I've got... Oh, I got religion. I'll do a religion. I got a 10 plus 2. I got a 12.
You've never heard of anything like this, ever?
Okay, Eoghan kind of steps back, kind of everything he's tried to do seems to go wrong. So Eoghan just steps back and just like starts scratching his head and just kind of shrugs and is like, I don't know what's happening. I've never seen this before.
As that's kind of happening, I'm going to kind of step towards Edgra and just say, my dear lady, you've said you sacrificed the heat, but this kind of fascinating stove is... I've seen nothing like this in my 2 years in Icewind Dale. It's... How come you have heat? Do you not have to sacrifice heat? And I'm kind of going to be half inspecting the stove and trying to figure out what it is, because I guess scientific fascination.
She looks at you very suspiciously before saying, it's mine, you know. I didn't steal it from anyone. It's mine, right? I found it right and proper.
I have no doubt that your denying of guilt has you 100% innocent, my fine lady. What is it?
Do you want to give me like a charisma roll, or if you've got something like persuade or similar
Yes.
check?
So, like, I'm trying to kind of read her, but also, like, I guess analyze the machine, the stove.
Yeah, which one would you rather do first? Do you want to analyze the
I'd rather, like, because Zalfiz kind of has a suspicion it's a magical heat or that's coming from it. So, like, do I know of anything kind of historical magical items that would produce such a thing?
Well, do you want to give me like either an investigation, or if you have any kind of like Arcana would be a good one.
History?
I think maybe if you're examining the thing, I think it's much more about you sort of using your artifice.
Okay. I'll go Arcana. I'm not trying at all to play into my racial feature. That gives me an advantage on history checks and magic items. Okay. With a +3, I rolled an 8 and 18.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay, so you begin to, as she's talking, you're not really listening to her because you're looking at this device. It's amazing. This isn't a stove. This is an engine. And it's powered, and you kind of look through the window by what looks like a shard of black ice. And not only is it an engine, it is not too far away from overheating. They've got this thing running, and maybe accidentally, but they've got this thing running at way above safe levels.
Okay, so... Yeah, where did you purchase this item? It's fascinating. I mean, it looks to be running at maximum capacity.
Right, I absolutely love that you're obsessed with my stove. That's absolutely fine. But I think we've got more pressing things up to hand. You said you've got a murderer walking around my town, and I need someone to get me the healer.
I tell you what, you send this lovely elf lady. I can feed her father the stew, mind stove, and Gon or one of my colleagues can go with her to get the healer.
The elf lady stands up and she says, if you'd be kind enough to do that, that would be absolutely fine. Come over here. This is my father.
Hello.
His name is Carrick. And the elderly elf man goes, who are you?
I am Zalfiz the Practical.
Oh, okay. And the elf lady heads over to Gon, is that right?
Correct, yeah.
All right then, it's not too far. Let's go.
Okay. And I'll leave with her.
Okay, so Kuran, so Graham, Kestra, what are you going to do? Are you going to stay here? Are you going to follow Gon and the elf lady? Or are you going to head off?
I was going to say, while a lot of this was happening because I'm exhausted, I've gone up to the elf lady before she left and asked if I could have some of the stew she was giving her father, and I'm nestled up in a corner next to the engine stove thing, checking, having a moment's rest.
So it is very, very tasty, although a little bit off, maybe, fish stew. And you feel yourself warming up as you curl next to this this engine. Kestra, what do you want to do?
I think Kestra is she's still looking in shock at that body, at the fact that it kind of came back to life and now seems to have gone again. And I think she turns back to the speaker. Who is this? Who is this? It is a man, right?
It is, yeah.
Who is this man?
This is June. He looks after a lot of the town's dogs.
See. Do you know why anyone would have reason to do this? Have you had any creatures in the area that might be capable of such an injury?
No, I'll be honest, there's a lot of unfriendly sorts in this town. No one lives this far away from anywhere without a reason. But we keep to ourselves. We haven't had any murders or any trouble, apart from Jake out there, for a long time.
Right.
You said you were looking for a murderer.
Yes.
I think you need to get on with that before anyone else gets hurt.
Can Kestra, she kind of nods. Can she do another examination of the body now that we're inside where there is some proper light and it's not freezing cold? Is there anything else about this that she can pick up on? Because she just saw the strangeness in the throat and what just happened. Is there a spell that somebody could be under that could feign death in this way or prolong death like this?
So you can give me an investigation check, or you can be a medicine check if you'd prefer.
I'll go with investigation. That's going to be 11.
So it's definitely still breathing. His face is getting blacker, and I don't know if you sort of pull back one of his eyelids, but the eyes themselves are completely black underneath.
Yeah.
And let's move the camera over to Gon as you trek through the snow.
Oh Lord, what's going to
See, what am I going to break this time?
So I think the elf lady introduces herself as Enna Leoden, and she looks up at you and up at you and up at you and goes, "So what brings the lot of you here? No one comes to Dugan's Hole."
We're looking for a murderer. From our friend Kestra. She hired us to join her in finding a murderer. I have my own reasons, but I'd rather not delve in too deeply. There's some stuff I'm trying to find out in Icewind, and that's where we are. Murder has led us here. So we're hoping we can find him and bring him back to where they want him. At Bryn Shander.
Well, hopefully you can find him quickly before anyone else gets hurt. And
Yes.
you're walking through the town, and you're approaching actually where you came from. There's a house just maybe a little bit further south than where the dogs are, and the dogs are now completely silent. And when you arrive outside the door, you see that there is quite a beautiful stained glass window above the door. It's in yellow and red glass, and it's of a path leading towards a sun. And the elf lady says, Tarman lives in here.
Tarman.
Yeah, Tarman Stormwind. He's a healer of sorts. And she goes to knock on the door, and the door opens on its own.
Does he normally leave his door open?
He does not. Something very, very strange is happening here.
Eoghan would like to take the shield off of his back and his club in his hand and kind of not push her aside or shove her, just like slide around her so he can go and investigate first. Let me look. And he wants to go into the room slowly and see if he sees any sign of life or anything like that.
So the door is in, the room itself is almost in complete shadow, and there's some snow that has blown in over the, just in the front of the room, maybe about 2 or 3 feet. Do you have any kind of light, or do you have dark vision?
I do not believe I have dark vision. And I don't have any source of light right now either. Also, I can't hear you right now. Did I just get disconnected?
No, I can hear you.
No, as I wasn't speaking.
Okay,
so the so the room is almost pitch black. You can't see anything. And the elf lady reaches down and says, "Hang on, I can do something." And she reaches around her neck and she pulls out a silver symbol and she holds it aloft, and a faint silver light begins to flow out of it. And she's praying or muttering something in Elvish as she does so. When she finishes, the light, although not light as a lamp or a lantern, is enough to fill the room as if by moonlight. And she says, "Come on, let's go."
Okay. And what do we see? Is it a big shack? Is it a big, house, or...?
So as you move into the darkness, let us move the camera back to the speaker's house. As you're all kind of, I guess, sort of 2 of you are huddled by the stove, and Kestra, you're by the body. I'd like you all to give me perception rolls.
My perception +3. I rolled an 18 with a +3.
I rolled
Okay.
14.
And Kestra?
7.
Okay, so do I need to reset my VMix at all?
I think you're
Are we
okay.
Okay. Okay. So the from outside, Zalfiz, you hear in the distance, maybe to the north, the direction you've not been before, a distant scream.
Did anyone else hear that?
I certainly heard that. It was a scream.
So the sounds, it's faint and far away, Joe, because I tell was this like an animal in pain, some
No,
sort
it definitely sounded like a human.
Okay.
Okay. So how is Graham doing exhaustion-wise now?
So you're still exhausted, so you still have to roll with disadvantage on all skill checks. And as I guess you kind of notify people there was a scream, the body in front of you, Kestra, starts convulsing. It starts making this horrendous noise, this and its eyes flick open and stare at you with inky blackness, and it begins to push itself up. And I need everybody to roll me initiative.
Oh, fascinating.
make a sanity check.
18 for Kestra.
Nice.
17. for
Natural
Zalfiz.
20 for Graham.
Wow.
Oh, you
Okay.
also have alert, so that's 25.
I also have alerts
Wow.
on first.
Fantastic. So, Graham, it is your round. What would you like to do? Let me just roll for the creature.
I'd like to prepare my the small dagger that I have in my boot and try and get into a position where I can potentially defend myself or others. I don't know exactly what's happening. I'm just startled by this. Something's definitely happening. My spidey sense is tingling, and I'm going to prepare to strike from a sneak attack.
So hold
Okay.
action.
Hold an action.
So, are you gonna? How far away do you want to be? Are you going to be within melee range, or are you going to be sort of
I think
further away? Where you
I'll
can
be
throw your
within
dagger?
melee range.
Excellent. Okay. So, do you want to have this attack now, or do you want to hold off?
I'm going to hold off.
Right. So, Kestra.
I think Kestra does a similar thing. I think she'll grab one of the daggers that she has from its hilt, but she's not going to use it. I think she's going to take both of her forearms flat and just try and push down on this thing as it's trying to get up, because she still doesn't know if this is just a person that's panicking and something has happened. But she's going to try and put all of her weight on its chest to keep it laying down on top of this table that we've got it on, but the dagger just in the back of the hand in case.
That sounds like a strength athletics roll. Let's see if you can hold this creature down.
60. Wait, athletics. Yeah, 16.
Okay, so this creature got a 5, so it you easily hold it down. Maybe it's the leverage you've got, or maybe you're stronger than you think you are, but you can hold it down. Zalfiz.
So Zalfiz is going to put his stew bowl down into this elf's lap and go, excuse me 1 minute, sir, I need to help my colleagues, and like take out his crossbow and walk towards Estra, saying, look, good sir, we're getting a doctor, it's going to be fine, we're going to look after you, just don't struggle, it's going to make it worse for you, we're here to help.
So it
I'm
continues
sure that'll work,
to
right?
make...
We come out of initiative?
Yeah, I'm sure. It continues to make this awful... And then its mouth begins to open wider and wider and wider as something's forcing its way out. And this black tentacle, as thick as your arm, forces its way out of its mouth. You can hear this crackle of bone. You see its throat swelling. And then the tentacle begins to bisect. And then each of those tentacles bisects again until there's 4 of these sucker-tipped lengths of tentacle, each one as thick as your thumb, waving all around. And there's this horrendous buzzing noise. And I think we'll start the next round of initiative. So, Graham.
Before the next round of initiative, I don't know about you, Kuran, but I think I'm firing my crossbow bolt and you're probably stabbing him, right?
Yep, exactly.
We held action.
Well, because no one acted, I think we'll just jump straight back into the next round. So we'll start off with Graham, if that's okay.
Oh, I thought we were I was holding an action. It was kind of my plan for. That's why I was taking out the crossbow.
Well, if everyone's kind of holding their action, then it sort of leads to the same result, if that makes sense.
Oh, I thought
Anyway.
you finished. Yeah. Okay.
So Graham.
Yeah. So I am going to attack with my dagger. Or you're saying, yeah.
Yeah.
I poised myself. I'm seeing this thing, these tentacles coming out. I'm like, and I just started slashing at it. I'm not sure what, not even sure what I'm slashing at. I'm just these inky black tentacles coming out everywhere, and I'm just hacking and slashing in, because I was within melee range while this happened.
So give me that attack roll.
Okay.
Is your advantage because he's held? Out of curiosity.
It's technically not held, is it?
No,
it's a tentacle out of a mouth. You're right. Yeah.
Because there are other people in melee range, you can give me that sneak attack if you do hit. So what do you get to attack?
Ooh. So it's just a D22 attack, right?
Yeah, so D20 plus your dex modifier plus your proficiency bonus.
Okay. So that's a natural 20.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Nice.
Nice. Are you going for the tentacles or are you going for the body?
Tentacles.
Nice. Okay. So the way we're going to do critical damage, we're going to do it slightly different than the player's handbook. What I'm going to say is full damage plus damage again. So what would be the maximum damage your dagger could do?
1 second. It is
D3 plus 3, I'm pretty sure.
it's 1d4 plus 3.
Okay, so it's 7 points of damage, and then give me another d4 again. Oh, plus your sneak attack damage, which should be 6.
God, 1d6.
So that's a 6 I got on the
dagger.
1d4 plus 3.
Nice. And then give me another d6 for your sneak attack.
And that's a 1, sadly.
And
That is
one more
20
D4
points of
then?
damage, I think.
Oh, right, yeah, sorry.
So your dagger swipes through all 4 tentacles, and they basically sort of fly into the air with the force of your blow, maybe going sort of 5 or 6 feet away from everybody, and they land on the floor with a thunk. The body underneath your arms, Kestra, stops moving. But then from the door, you hear the speaker shout, "Oh my God, there's more of them!" And she's pointing out into the darkness. And
Dear.
Zalfiz, you look down and you notice that the tentacles are moving across the floor towards the 3 of you. And I think we're going to move the camera over to Gon.
At this stage, Gon doesn't know any of this is happening, but he's just got in his head now that he's going to be going back to that house with another dead body over his shoulder.
Okay, so you enter the house. It's much smaller than the speaker's house, obviously. And there's one room which has some crude furniture. And the elven lady looks around and says, I don't think anyone's here. But look, there's a door over there. Maybe leading upstairs?
Yeah, Gon nods silently and it kind of inclines or like gestures that they should move along and take a look.
Do you want to go first or shall I? And she holds this glowing necklace aloft.
I'll go first, but stay close behind because I won't have any light if I'm leading.
Okay, well, if you take this, it'll lose light, so I'll try and hold it around you. And she sort of leans around you as you open the door.
I think I'm probably, I guess I'm going to have to duck down to get anywhere, haven't I? Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So the door opens with a creak, revealing a thin staircase, probably only just wide enough for you to get up, leading into darkness. From up there, you feel cold wind blowing down towards you.
I'm just gonna kind of not really shout. I'm just gonna like say out loud, Tarman, are you here?
There's no answer.
Okay, I'm gonna move up the stairs and into the kind of upper level.
Okay, so you are greeted with a really strange sight. The upstairs room probably was the bedroom, but all the windows are opened. There's windows sort of behind you and windows in front of you that are wide open, letting in the freezing cold air, but also the snow. There's a bed that's been like upended and pushed to one side, right up against the wall. And the floor in the ice there's a pattern that's been scratched there. And kneeling with his back to you, right down there, scratching in the ice and snow, this odd pattern, is a naked human figure.
Do I recognize?
Well, I was just going to say, he's whispering to himself. Or could he be singing?
Can I hear what he's saying?
Yes. He is saying, "We bow to she who wears the crown. Let the world shiver with dread. Clad in winter's whitest gown, as snow enshrouds the dead. We bow to she who wears the crown. Let the world shiver with dread. Clad in winter's whitest gown, as snow enshrouds the dead. We know. We bow to she who wears the crown. Let the world
Gon
shiver."
wants to go over, just shake him in the shoulder and try to snap him out of it. Tarman.
This isn't Tarman. This is the killer you have been searching for.
Oh my God, no.
That's quite
just-
loud.
Oh, I like instinctively just swing my club at the back of his head while I cast Shillelagh on it too.
Okay, well, you can roll with advantage because he's kneeling down naked with his back to you, so absolutely give me that roll.
Oh, God. Let's see, what is my... +5, cool. With advantage. The first one is a 7 plus a 5. The second one is a 3 plus a 5. So
Okay,
I got 12 and an 8.
12 is good enough. Give me that
Okay.
damage roll.
It's 1d8. So I only did 3 damage.
So you knock him flying across. I mean, you are strong, particularly when you're empowered with the shillelagh, this magical druidic club. And you see blood spray across this picture, this strange thing that he's drawing in the ground. And you see that his body is blackened with frostbite. He's barely alive anyway. And he looks up at you and he goes, "You can feel it, can't you? You can feel it."
What are you talking about?
The cold. It's not the weather you're feeling. That's death. That's death approaching.
Can I, like... He's not struggling or moving around or anything, is he?
No, he's just lying there in this increasing pool of blood that's pouring from his scalp that you've gashed.
Okay, I'd like to, like, bind him and also gag him because he's freaking me out. So just, like, from the bed sheets or anything like that. Before I gag him, I'd like to ask him if he's seen the healer. If he's seen that, where's the person who lives here? What have you done?
So as you approach him, he sort of screams and goes, "She's angry. She doesn't like visitors into her realm. She's going to punish us." And then when you grab him and start tying him up, he stops talking.
He just stops. Okay. Then I will gag him anyway in case he starts talking again. And do I see anything around the room? Do I see any signs of Tarman?
Give me a perception roll.
Perception. Oh, that's fine. +3. Where's my roller gone? I got a 5 + 3, so I got an 8. I don't think I see much.
So you hear in the distance a scream through the mists.
Oh,
And I think we're going to move the camera back to the speaker's house, where the three of you stand over the now completely still corpse. From the doorway, the speaker is shouting about more of them coming. And Zalfiz, you have just seen the 3 or 4 tentacles that Graham cut are now crawling across the floor towards you. And I believe it's your round.
You're the worst, Joe. It's just as an aside. Okay. So, as is it Edgar?
Edgar
Damoon.
Yeah, Edgar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as Edgar has said, like, there's more of them. She's like standing at a window looking out. So like I've understanding more.
She's
what
by
you're
the
saying.
door. Yeah, she's by the door, which is open, and she's looking out.
Guys, I think we need to solve this problem quickly. So I'm going to assume, as a man of science, that I'm basically looking and seeing something coming out of a body, and I think it's probably the body is the host keeping this tentacle alive. Or is there some way of like assessing that quickly?
Probably not easily. I mean, I think you can draw that conclusion.
As a man of science, I'm going to go with my gut and just try and aim for the body with my crossbow, I think.
Okay.
So, with a +4...
You can roll with advantage because the body is now not moving at all, and you're right close to it.
Lovely. So my first roll was a 16, my second roll was an 18.
Okay, both hits.
So, 1d8 +2. Oh boy, I rolled 3 damage. I'm a man of science, not a man of war.
So your crossbow bolt embeds itself into the rib cage, and the kind of body convulses for a second, and it begins to ooze through the kind of thick furs that are covering it, a black liquid.
I have a theory that this may be a host for whatever this tentacle thing is. And also, the tentacles are crawling all over the floor. We need to deal with this, guys.
That is truly vile.
Kestra, it's your round.
I think at this, Kestra's going to look between this body that I imagine she's had to like move out of the way, hearing this crossbow bolt slam into the side of its chest, and trying not to get covered in this weird sticky black substance. And I think she would shout back at Zalfiz, like, "Do you want me to deal with the body, or do you want me to deal with the tentacles? I can't do both at once. I'm not your mother."
I think the tentacles dealing with the body. I think deals with the tentacles. Though I could be wrong. I don't know. We can do I told you so's after this whole situation. Your call.
Is there still a bulge?
The tentacles
Throat?
are kind of like upright like cobras, and they're kind of moving quickly towards you under their own propulsion, leaving a trail of this black liquid behind them.
Is there still a bulge in the throat? Like you said before, as they were coming up, it was like the throat had expanded and was...
There's still like 4 tentacles that are in his mouth, but they're now lying almost inert, leaking this black fluid, and the tentacles on the floor are moving.
I'm going to trust Zalfiz, because this is why I hired Zalfiz to
I'm
be
the brains.
Yeah. And I think she just replies back, "You're the brains," and I'm going to grab this body around the throat and then just cast Eldritch Blast in the hopes that destroying whatever's hidden away in the throat stops the tentacles.
Nice. Okay, so just roll for damage. You don't need to roll to hit.
Okay, cool.
It's vicious.
What is this?
We might be the bad guys.
That's a 9 force damage.
Wow, okay.
Ooh.
Your Eldritch Blast just explodes the throat away. The head goes flying off like a pool ball. The body just lies there, black ooze spraying out across the table and across the floor, luckily not hitting anyone, or they're coming very close to Graham. The tentacles, though, don't seem unmoved by this, and the nearest one launches itself towards you, Kestra.
Kestra shouts back, "You were wrong! You were wrong!"
It's scientific method. You test a theory out and you try a new theory. I have a new theory.
Okay, so the first tentacle has rolled a 1, so it's kind of just jumped over you and landed on the floor, and it looks stunned and it's sort of shaking. The next tentacle
Can I
launches
just
itself towards you.
imagine
Oh my god!
Bats it away with the edge of her tail.
I've rolled a 2.
Oh my god.
Oh, I love that idea. It kind of like lands behind you, and you almost like baseball bat it away with your tail. That's perfect. Second one too. Thuds into the wall and drops down. The third one is going to leap towards you, Graham, and it gets a 13 plus 2. It's a 15 to hit. Is that enough versus your armor class?
It is, yeah. My armor class is 14.
Okay, so it basically grabs onto your arm and it begins to wrap itself around it like a snake and begins to tighten. So it's going to use its athletics, but you can try and pull it away using either athletics or, if you prefer, acrobatics. Oh my god, I rolled a 1.
I think I will go with acrobatics, and I have to roll 2 d20. Oh my god.
You don't need to roll anything. I just rolled another 1.
Wow.
This is the best game ever.
Saving all his good rolls for when it comes back to me.
Oh, right, yeah. Oh, of course. And the last one, on Zalfiz, a 15 plus 2, so that's a 17 to hit. So the same again.
It's my 14, yeah.
It sort of grab... Okay, well, I've rolled a 3
God.
plus 2, so I've got a 5. So you've got to beat a 5 on your athletics or acrobatics to stop it grappling you.
As a gnome that's 3'5", I have a -1 to my athletics. So I rolled a 17.
Right.
Whoa.
I am nimble.
Oh, okay. And what's your little robot, the Lady Pen, doing during all this?
Lady Pen is... So she has this kind of like a light faint green glow from her eyes when she's like passive and stuff. She's sees the threat to the whole situation, so it's now like little red eyes with little kind of not quite an alarm sound, but just like kind of little, a gentle kind
Whirring.
of just a whirring and kind of panic and like hissing at a tentacle, but not able to do anything because she's kind of just there to carry stuff and like help out. She doesn't really attack things. She's not built for war.
Nice.
She's
Okay.
built for convenience.
So this is the end of the round, and you turn to the door where the speaker's standing. She goes, "Oh my god!" And she begins to run into the room as behind her 3 dark figures, or I should say 2 figures dressed in dark furs, with another figure dressed in white furs with the polar bear head over his face, standing in the door, and they all look at you and point and go, and you see in their mouths are these black tentacles. And the speaker goes, "Come on, we need to run." And she points to a door at the back of the room.
I knew something was off with Jake. Right, we're gonna run.
Damn it, Jake.
And just before,
I don't want to put a problem, out here. But what about our elf friend here? He just left to the zombie people.
So he's like stood up and he's walking towards the three figures slowly, and he's sort of squinting, and he's going, "Oh, is that you, Anna? It's so dark. I can't see anything."
I nod to Lady Penguin, she's just under 2 feet, to nod to her, see if she can so she kind of is on wheels, wheel legs, drive underneath him, see if he falls back, sits on it, and drive him away with us.
Nice. Okay. Well, let's before we find out if that works, let's move the camera back to Gon, who is, I guess, hogtied this naked murderer, and you've just heard a scream from outside.
It was the scream in the direction of where we came from,
It was not. It was the house next door. And Enna looks up at you and goes, "Oh my gosh, what was that? Did you hear that? I think someone's in trouble. Come on, we need to go. Bring him along or leave him or whatever you're doing."
He's going over my shoulder. I start running with her. Is she going to the other house? Because my immediate instinct is to go to the others.
Come on, someone's hurt.
Okay, but we have to get back to the others. Something's not right in this town. Something's wrong. And we'll go in. Do we see anything in here? She has her symbol of light or whatever.
Yeah, she's still holding this starlight amulet, and she runs through the snow. There's a trail running from the kind of main path where you've walked along up to this house. And in fact, give me a perception roll.
No.
Or if you prefer investigate. Work.
Oh, natural 20. Yes.
Wow. You see everything. So the snow is broken by multiple footsteps, and with that incredible roll, you think there are at least 2 sets of footsteps that have run into the house. The door is wide open, but from within there is silence.
I'll run in, and before I go in, I just I don't even gently put him down. I just throw the hogtied guy on the doorstep and enter the house. I don't think he's going anywhere.
He thuds into the snow, and he looks up and goes, "You're dead. We're all dead. We've hanged her. We're all dead." And you enter the house. This is not pitch black. There is a lantern hanging from above, though you have to duck to get in. And initially, you can't see anyone. There's some furniture which looks to be well made, and although there is a lantern, it kind of just, these furnitures looks like the room's filled with shadows. Over to one side there is a stove, and in it there is wood burning. And at first you're like, "What's that in front of you?" And then you see there's a figure lying in the middle of the room, his face completely swollen. And then you look again, and you see there are 2 more figures. They're back to you, and they're facing this stove, but they're right up against it, almost touching it, an inch away.
Oh God. I kind of look back at Anna, and just whisper, "Do you know any of these people? Who are they?"
"God, that looks like Charlie. Are you okay?" And she runs forward, and as she does, the 2 figures spin around, and their faces are completely pale, their eyes are completely black, and they have these tentacles from their mouth, and they both go and launch themselves towards you.
Can I grab her as she's running in, as I see this, and just try to pull her out of the house?
Yeah, of course you can. Do you want to give me... we'll just do a very quick opposed roll. You can use athletics, or you can use acrobatics.
I will use... they're both the same, +1, so... Oh, I got a natural 1.
Yeah, so
Oh my
The man only
god.
crits.
The man
Only
of
crits.
extremes.
You only crits. Oh my
So
god.
so you go to grab her, but she's not too fast because she's not really trying to avoid you, but she's moving quickly, and you stumble over an unseen chair and you fall flat over what seems to be a bench, and you end up flat on the ground, and she's crouching over this person lying on the ground, and then she looks up in horror as the other two just launch themselves towards her. And I think we'll do a very quick initiative.
Oh, yay. What is my initiative +1? So I get my god, my rolls. I rolled a 4 + 1. So I get 5.
5. Okay, so they actually get a 5 as well. I'm going to roll for them together. I will roll for Anna too. And so she goes first. So she looks up in horror, and she's just going to get out of there. So she pulls herself backwards, sort of like hands behind her, feet in front of her, as she sort of pushes herself away. She manages to dodge their kind of blows towards her and gets out of their range. What's your dexterity? Because it will be whether you're more dexterous than them as to who goes next.
My dexterity is 12, so it's +1.
So yeah, it'd be you next.
Okay. You said it was a bench I tripped over?
Yeah.
I'd like to pick up the bench and throw it at them and then run around.
Nice. Nice. Okay. So I'm going to get you to do an attack roll with this. Let's see how you do it. You don't get to add your proficiency bonus because this is like an improvised weapon. So it's just basically a strength roll.
Cool. So that's just a +1. Where's my roller? There it is. All right, there we go. I rolled a 17 + 1, so I got an 18 as I throw the bench at them.
That's incredible. Okay. They do not roll high enough. So the bench crashes into them and sends them flying back, and they go... They collapse in front of the stove with the bench on top of them, and then it goes, we need to go. What's happening?
Let's go. We have to get back to the others. This is something. This is what run, and he just goes.
Okay, and Enna is following you quickly, still holding up this starlight amulet. And although you don't necessarily need it outside, are you going to bring the naked man who's muttering to himself in the snow? Or are you going to?
Yes, I grab him along the way.
Okay. Let's swap the camera back to, I believe, Zalfiz. Your Lady Peng is just about to try and... Were you trying to trip him, or what were you trying to do with this?
It's Lady Penguin.
I apologize.
It's a pun.
Oh, I got the pun.
So basically, she kind of just like whirs around on these wheels. Like she's got really low clearance off the ground, but she's a solid, bulky, like little round ball of metal, basically.
Okay.
Clockwork mechanics. So she's just gonna try and she's just tall enough to kind of hit the back of someone's legs, and their knees would fall down like onto a chair. Like she's that kind of height. So I'm gonna when I nod to her, she knows what I'm saying. I'm trying to just take this half senile old man away from danger.
Okay. Do you have stats currently for Lady Pen, Gwen?
No, but I'm gonna say they're +10.
Sure.
Oh, +10.
Or should we maybe use your Arcana roll? Because I think it's almost like because it's your. This is something you've.
I'm so glad you said that, not animal handling. Okay, with a +3, I rolled a 9. Oh, be
9. Okay, well let's see how this elderly elf reacts. He rolls a 20. Natural
Is that positive or
20.
negative?
Well, so basically, Lady Pen goes flying underneath him, and I guess he's sort of quite bow-legged, and just goes straight through his leg. And he looks around at you in terror as if you're attacking him, and goes, "Oh, leave me alone!" And he just starts running towards the 3 figures in the door, who are now screeching towards him.
Oh,
Lady Pen.
And I think we're going to go back into initiative, if that's okay. So I think, Graham, this is your round with a 25.
So I guess I'm going to try and get this old elf man out of here as well. I believe she, Edgra was showing us a back door, a back way out, right?
Yeah, so she's running to a back door, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to see, although Zalfiz has just startled the old man, right? So is it possible for me to just maybe get my arm under his, and I'll try and just scurry him towards this the direction that Edgar's trying to get us out?
The old man, you're gonna have to go. You're gonna have to go nearer these creatures to do that. So the old man sort of, you're sort of in the center of the room. The old man is between you and the door, and these three guys are by the door.
Oh dear, I might distract them.
Okay, how would you like to do that?
I'd like to pick up. Maybe is there like actually I had some of the soup, right? So
There's actually a cauldron of soup, probably pretty near you, if you'd like to use that.
Cauldron of soup. So I literally grab the cauldron and I chuck it into the corner just behind them. Or, hopefully they don't see me actually throwing it. Perhaps make it a stealth check or deception or something like that.
I think a deception is a great roll for this. Yeah, give me that deception roll.
Okay. Whoa. That's
What?
25?
Something wrong with that roll.
Wow. Okay, so what would you like to happen? You tell me.
Like for the cauldron to hit behind them, it splashes and it just sort of goes all into their feet and everything, and the ground becomes kind of slippery. So maybe they're going to be somewhat hindered in trying to get anywhere near anybody, at least in the immediate future.
Well, I think because you did a deception roll, I quite like the idea that not only maybe spilling on the ground beneath them, it crashes into the wall behind them, and because you're so successful in deception, they all turn around, and as they turn around, they then slip on this stew. And so you've made your moment. So Zalfiz, if you're happy, Lady Peng can go up behind the old man and can do what you wanted and kind of.
Yeah, so she's clearly disgruntled now at this, what she is considering, because she's somewhat intelligent, like this disgruntled old man. She's like, and just like, basically, what was kind of a slow, almost gentle kind of speed, she's going to just try and drive into the back of him now, slightly more aggressively, just to make sure. He knows her feelings towards it.
I love it. And the speaker is now thrust open the door. It's not a back door, it's a staircase. And she's going, come on, let's go. And she runs up into darkness. And I believe, Kestra, do you wish to follow? What do you want to do? All of you, I guess. Does anyone, the best question maybe, does anyone want to stay behind?
We're going, this is going upstairs, is it?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we're going upstairs, yeah.
Can I ask a really stupid question?
My favorite.
When we were outside, did this house have 2 stories when we were outside?
It did, yeah.
Okay. I'm just checking.
Yeah.
You thought it was like a TARDIS?
I think Kestra's hesitant. Like she gets to the doorway, like runs to it and looks up, and then looks back at these things that are now flailing around on the floor. And I think she turns to Graham and Zalfiz. Is upstairs a good idea? Are we going to be able to get out from there?
It's better than the tentacle first or ground floor. So yes.
I can imagine we would just land in the snow if there's a window or something.
Good point.
Okay, so it sounds like
she'll make her way up.
it sounds like
That's
you're
all she
last,
needed.
Kestra. So do you want to close the door? Do you want to stay by the door? What do you want to do? Because you're the last person up, I think.
So I don't know how the stove works, but if we're going with the idea, I'm going to take it on Graham's advice that we're going up to jump out a window somewhere. Can she take a second to like kick that stove? She doesn't know how it works, but maybe it being super warm.
Oh dear.
At bay, because all of these things have come outside, right? They're all in the snow.
Yeah.
So she's thinking that if the soup is such an issue because that's hot, maybe they don't like the heat. And she doesn't really mind because, she's got an infernal heritage, so she doesn't even feel it. But she'll kick that over and then shut the door behind them and go upstairs.
Okay, so I'm going to need a strength athletics.
Okay. Here we go.
Just to answer one question as well. Lady Penguin
20, a natural one.
Ooh.
20. Okay, so you kick it
nice.
and like literally nothing happens. But with that 20, if you want to give it a proper heave and roll it over, you probably can.
Yeah, I mean, she vaguely kind of overheard Zalfiz talking about it running like super to the max, and it's a stove. And in her mind, the hotter it is, there's got to be fire or flames or something once it gets hot, right? So she'll go for a big old shove, get the tail in there as well for the extra strength, and just hope that it does something. Because she's got no idea how it works.
Seen this show where I go upstairs and light a fire on the ground floor. It doesn't end well for my characters. We've done this in our show.
We're jumping out the window, so it's fine.
Oh, he jumped out a window too. He jumped out a window too.
So the stove, like, it tips over, and there's a moment where you think it's going to fall back onto you, and then you just push it even further, and it tips over, and it thuds onto the ground. It has got real weight behind it. And for a moment, nothing seems to be happening. And then you hear this whirring noise, like a bee or something has been trapped.
Oh, she runs. She doesn't wait to see what happens. She's going straight for the door.
And the three figures start running after you. You get to the door. They're probably like 10 foot behind you, running full pelt.
She'll shut the door behind her if she can and try to get upstairs and hope that there's a bang or something from downstairs.
Okay.
I think there's going to be more than a bang, to be honest.
Your horror, you slam the door and there's no lock. There's not even a latch. And you look down and you're sort of, you realize you've only got a couple of seconds till they get to you, and you kind of just flinch for a second, expecting these huge, heavy bodies. I mean, Jake was enormous. He was almost as big as Gon. And then nothing happens.
Oh, no.
You don't hear the horrible sound. You don't, yeah.
So there's the three of us at the bottom of the stairs now, like just kind of like step 1, 2, 4, kind of like.
If you'd like to be, you're probably like halfway up the stairs, yeah, and with Kestra at the bottom, but no one's crashed into the door.
She's still going to hold
move
the door
camera
shut just in case.
Joe, you're the worst.
And we're going to move the camera over to Gon. So you've just ran out of the house. Behind you, you can hear the figures, two of them, strolling under this bench. You can hear this sound. And the elven lady's running ahead of you. Come on, we need to go.
I'm following her. I'm going straight back to the house that all my colleagues, associates were at. I'm expecting it to blow up now the second I get there.
I love that God calls us associates.
Yeah. So can you give me that perception roll, please?
Okay.
As you're running through the snow.
Ooh, 18 plus 3 at 21.
Ooh, wow. Okay. You see ahead of you. So it's probably about maybe 100 feet between you are and where the speaker's house is. And you see around the speaker's house are 6 more. I mean, from where you're standing, they're probably just silhouettes. And you also notice, because that was such a good roll, you notice 3 more figures, 2 to your left, 1 to your right, maybe still about 50 feet of the way, coming out of 2 houses. And they sort of don't seem to know initially where they're heading. They look a bit...
I'll slow down and just kind of stop in at 2 and just see what they do, see if they start moving, because I don't currently want to necessarily charge right into a big group of people outside that house. Do they start moving towards the house, or what do they start doing?
The elven lady looks and goes, "Come on, we can't stay here. Come on, what's going on?"
I don't know, but we can't run straight into that. We don't know if they're doing if it's the same as the other house. But we've got to get to. Is there anywhere that we can hide that they won't find us?
Come on, quick, down here. And she points where there's the gap between the floor and one of the houses under the stilts. Quick, just duck down.
Am I really going to fit in there?
You're probably going to, if you've got this guy over your shoulder, you're probably going to clip him one as you duck down. But you could get under there. There's about 2 feet.
I mean, it's going to be tight.
Come on, stop fussing.
I shoved the guy in, just in front of me. Actually, no, I drag him in after me, and I scooch in there.
So you look around, and the 5 figures that were outside the speaker's house go into the speaker's house, and the door's wide open, but there's no more sound. The other 3 figures ahead of you go back into the houses that you saw, and the 2 figures that were following you return to the house they're in.
What? That's so weird.
Why? Is the heat? Do you think it's the heat? Are they after the heat?
Why would they? Maybe. Let me go.
They followed us. Gosh, they're after. If they see a person, they follow us. But as soon as we're out of sight, they just want the heat.
Well, let me go and investigate. You stay here and make sure this guy doesn't go anywhere. He shouldn't be too hard to handle. I'll be back, and I want to leave quietly and get up to the hut and see if I can look inside the door without being spotted.
The one you've just left?
No, the hut that 5 people went into.
That's the speaker's house, so that's 100 feet away from where you are.
Well, I would like to get up there as quietly as I can.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. So you sort of move your way from shadow to shadow, and actually, it's not that difficult, but everywhere's dark. You curse your feet as you hear them crunching under snow beneath, but you make your way to the speaker's house without incident. The door is ajar. You sort of look in. The room is strangely silent, and the stove is on its side, but there's 8 of the creatures kneeling next to it, like absolutely close to it. And I think maybe we'll say that at that moment as well, the door opposite you opens and Kestra looks out and sees the same thing.
Okay, I'm gonna gesture to Kestra. I'm gonna point at the heat. The heat is what they're after, and I'm pointing at the oven, and then gesture for them to. Is there a window upstairs I can see that they could maybe jump out to get to me?
So I don't know. What do you want to do? So Kestra, at the moment, you're by the door. Zalfiz and Graham, I guess you're on the stairs, halfway up. It's up to you.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to just say put my finger up 1 minute, and
just miming at each other.
I want to cast bonfire on the side of one of the houses and set it on fire.
Wow. Do you want to do it on the house that the one or two of the, because there were some other figures that you saw out in the
one of the houses that 2 of the figures came out of.
Okay, that will absolutely work. The house, this is thick wood that's very, very cold, and it's got snow on it and stuff, so it probably won't immediately light, particularly if you do it on the roof, which is covered in snow. But if you did it maybe underneath. Yeah. So that will absolutely work. So you can see the fire beginning to spread. It's going to take a bit of time, but yeah.
Okay. Obviously. Then I'll go back to hiding where the Anna and the and what's the guy called? Caltro are.
Okay. So meanwhile, Zalfiz, Graham, what are you doing?
I'm going to go up into the attic and then take a look at what's actually on the attic, the upstairs, I suppose, and see what's actually there. Is there anything?
So it's a corridor with multiple doors. Again, this is a big, big house. The speaker's waiting at the top and goes, "What on earth is keeping all of you? Why? What's going on?"
And I can hear this on the stairs, can I?
Yeah.
It appears our friend Eoghan has some sort of theory, and it is peculiar that these monsters stopped chasing us when we closed the door. When God was doing the pointing, was he literally saying or mouthing the heat?
I was mouthing. I wasn't saying it because I didn't want to be spotted by the creatures.
I think Kestra can probably fill in the gap. I tipped the stove over and they're all kneeling around it. I think we've distracted them. Is there a window we can get out of? Looked like something had been going on, trying to point us out into the snow. Can we get out from here?
Of course.
Go on.
So the speaker just gestures to one of the rooms, opens up, and it's a bedroom, and there's a window. You'd probably be about 20 foot above the ground, but again, I guess you'd be landing onto snow, so, or you could maybe fashion a rope or something. You can definitely get down there.
Guys, I'm 3'5". I don't jump much. These could be like moths. Maybe they'll just stay looking at the flames, and we can just walk out.
So while he's saying this, Graham's just kind of jumped into the snow, gone for it.
Okay, I'm gonna need an acrobatics roll to avoid damage.
Okay.
Exhaustion.
So I've got it. Okay, so that's 14.
I thought you were going to say 4. Oh my god.
No, 14.
Okay.
Rolled, 14, so
So yeah, you get down without any problem. So you probably see, I mean, Gon, are you going to come back? What are you doing? Well, I mean, the first thing, you land and you see that a house not too far away is on fire.
Oh. So immediately I'm looking out and I'm saying, Zalfiz, Kestra, I think, can you see from up there? They should be able to see from up there that there's a house on fire across the way.
It appears Gon is putting his theory to test. Very, very practical of him. Zalfiz the practical approves.
Okay, so I hug the house that we've just jumped out the window of so I can make space for everyone else to land. I'm assuming Zalfiz makes the jump.
Zalfiz will step up.
Set up a rope for Zalfiz, who's just declared they are not jumping.
As you're setting up the rope, I can step up into the window and say,
Gon, my good man,
who's like 10 foot tall,
could you help your colleague?
and I'm going to like hang from the windowsill. So that's 3.5 feet down, and then like 10 feet to a gun to see if he'll like, catch me, maybe.
Yeah, we can Princess Bride this. You could be,
I am a princess of
all white horses.
Gon like shakes his head from where he's like, he just like palm to face and then just crawls out again and runs over and goes to catch Zalfiz.
I'm a princess of science, apparently. Okay, I'll take that.
So the speaker jumps down deftly and looks around and goes, "All right, what now?"
We need to get out of this town. There's multiple other people in different. That house that's on fire. There's 2 people in there that have something wrong with them. There's tentacles coming out of their mouth. Also, I found Caltro. We need to get out of here.
Oh, well,
What do you mean, get out of here? There's 50 people here. You can't leave them all. You need to deal with these things.
Our work here is done. We've got right. Practically speaking, like, I don't know.
Oh, to hell with you, and I'll sort it out. And she begins to walk towards the door.
I think as Kestra comes down this rope, I think she goes up to the speaker, having kind of overheard this, so she's making her sensible way down, and kind of puts her hand on her shoulder. Like, whatever is going on here, you can't solve it by yourself. When we got here, there was one of these bodies face down in the snow, and within minutes, there are 10 of them? 15 of them? Whatever this is, it is too late. Leave with us. We can send people back here if we have to. But if you stay here, you're going to end up just like them.
She looks pained and goes, "No, I'm not leaving my people. You go if you want. You go risk the snow." And she sort of looks into the room and sees the 8 figures crowded round this fire and goes, "What if we got everyone, all of these creatures infected in this room, and blow the fire, blow the stove?"
Oh, so your solution to save your people is kill this part of your people. Okay, cool. Yeah, we can do that. I mean, I thought you were trying to save all the people, but okay.
If they want the heat, maybe they'll just walk right into the fire. Right?
I already set this house on fire.
So I'm going to try and persuade Edgar. I'm going to say, Edgar, look, if we don't leave, you will surely die.
I'm not leaving, even if it kills me.
What if we make a loud noise out, bring everyone outside? Maybe they'll just be attracted to the house that's on fire. Maybe they'll all just go there by themselves.
I think that's
a loud noise.
They're clearly not attracted by the fire. Look, and the whole house is now blazing. They're not even coming out of the fire.
That's because
the only
your
thing they're
house is
attracted
like a
to is
furnace.
us.
I mean, okay. Hear me out here. If you guys cover me, I can zip around pretty quick with Lady Penguin here, and maybe lure the people into this stovepipe bomb idea we have.
The stove has black ice in it, and it's outside of the building, isn't it?
No, it's in the middle
No,
of
it's
it's in the middle of the room.
It's in the middle of the room. Okay.
So, like, basically, Zalfiz's idea is he's suggesting he sits on Lady Penguin, buzzes around, like, the main street to see anyone lurking, any zombie tentacle people are lurking around, drag them back in to the blast radius?
I love it. So the speaker goes, right, that's a fantastic idea, but no, everyone do it. We need to knock on every door, every house. We need to gather every one of the infected people and bring him here.
Zalfiz takes some like driving goggles off his head, puts them on,
God.
sits onto Lady Penguin. Sits onto Lady Penguin, and two little handlebars just pop up from her head, and he's ready to go like a 1920s motorcyclist.
Amazing. That is fantastic. Okay, so I guess you kind of all go off in every direction. I mean, is everyone okay with this plan?
Yes.
Yeah, Kess will get into this. She'll start using thaumaturgy to throw unlocked doors open and make noise and attract attention to get all of these things out.
Gon is just walking around smacking his shield with his club, just like making as much noise.
I'm just politely knocking on different doors. I'm like, excuse me, I do think I require your attention, sir.
Okay, so some of the houses do have really confused people in, and I guess maybe the speaker will lead them away out of town to give you this chance. But it isn't long before you have gathered about 10 more screeching zombies who are chasing after you. And let's have you, because we're short of time, you all arrive at the house, the speaker's house, together, chased by a horde of zombies. And then you sort of like, we didn't really plan for this. What do we do? And then you look up at the window and the old guy is looking out and going, oh gosh, what's happening?
No, not him. We forgot about the old guy.
Can Kesh just go up and get him and bring him down on the rope? Because it's still attached from where they climbed out.
So you're climbing up the rope. So you do have this group of screeching zombies running towards you from the town as you've all kind of come together. You're going to have to get them into this building. Like, what are you going to do?
So as they're gathered just outside the door, I'm going to pull up behind them, so the opposite side of the group to the house, like lift up my riding goggles and cast Thunderwave. Will that work to push them in?
Well, they're all there, so you're in front, so you're between them and the speaker's house because they're chasing you.
Yeah, and I'm
So
assuming
if you Thunderwave, you're going to push them away from the speaker's house.
Well,
rather
what I
than
was thinking
them in.
was, I haven't got a speed for Lady Penguin. But apparently, she's zippy enough in my head. And, like, as everyone kind of comes like from different crossroads to the front of this house, that I was going to just zip around the other side of this group and then just cast Thunderwave.
I like it, and I think because we're very short of time, I'm going to say it works. Your thudding boom of a spell explodes across the night. Snow falls from the roofs, and the horde that you've gathered is blown into the room. Kestra brings down the old man on the rope. You've now got all the zombies in the room with the stove. How do you finish this off? What's our conclusion?
We blow them up.
I have burning hands. Assumably, if that stove gets any hotter, it's going to go kaboom, right?
Sure.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
once we're all far enough away, Kestra will cast burning hands towards the kind of like the bottom of that house in the hopes it's just going to add to the heat that thing's pouring out, and just look around to see if anyone else is going to add anything. Because I think we can all cast fiery spells, right?
Yeah, I'll cast another bonfire underneath that thing.
Nice.
They look to Zalfiz and shield goes up because I don't have a fiery spell. Shield seems like a good idea. It's like
Graham doesn't have any spells, but he's going to cross his arms and look intensely at the fire, hoping that it's helping.
Okay, so let's wind this up. So as the three of you plow your spells, Burning Hands, Eldritch Blast, Fire. What was your one? Gone?
Bonfire.
Bonfire, and then a shield whips up for Zalfiz in front of him and Lady Pen. For a moment, nothing happens, and then suddenly the buzzing noise from within the stove reaches a crescendo. It suddenly stops, and then there's a moment where there's a kind of influx, like an intake of breath, and then an immense explosion, and the whole house goes up in flames and debris, blowing you all off your feet, apart from possibly Zalfiz, who has his shield up. And Graham, I think we started with you, so I think we'll finish with you as well. So as you lie in the snow, the light of the flames from the two burning houses kind of playing across your face, and you look across the devastation you've wrought, you feel a pain deep within. You feel something inside you stirring.
Oh no.
And you realize, or you think to yourself for a moment, you were in a capsule similar to whatever this creature was. For a moment, you think there's something inside you. I think that is a great play to leave the story for tonight. So again, thank you all for playing. It's been an absolute blast. And I'll hand over to you, Owen, if you want to do the sort of final sort of 5-10 minutes.
So I'm going to do my thing, give Joe a chance to decompress, because to be fair to him, he's wrote a hell of a story and probably stressed. No,
man.
4 wild players I could have. So look, that was a blast.
Literally.
First off, I'm quickly going to go around the table and introduce everyone. So 4 of us are from How We Roll, guys. You can probably tell that by our handles. Well, actually, maybe not, because Kuran doesn't do branding. But first off, I'm going to introduce our special guest, Virginia, and let her just tell us a bit about herself and her thoughts of the game, I guess.
Hi, yeah, thank you for having me. This has been amazing. This was
Absolute
so epic.
pleasure.
It was so much fun.
I'm Virginia. Everybody calls me V. I make role-playing games for a living. I help make and write them. And I play them over on Twitch sometimes and play video games and stuff. So this is basically my life, and I love doing this. This was amazing. I didn't know what to expect going in. Like, Joe told us a little bit kind of about the beginning kind of session 0 stuff. I did not expect tentacles and creepy creatures that worship heat. This is fantastic. And I love all of your characters. I instantly want to protect all of them.
That'll change. They all start out with me, and then they kill me.
But yeah, this is amazing, and an awesome bunch of people to roleplay with. And Joe, thank you as well. That's a freaking awesome adventure that you did in like 2 hours, which is amazing.
No, thank you. It really, I mean, absolute pleasure, and thank you so much for joining us. Obviously, I heard your game with Owen and Red Moon Roleplay, and really wanted to play with you. So when you agreed to come on, I was really stoked. So yeah, it's been a blast. Thank you.
Thank you.
She's mad enough to fit in with us, and I think it's to be fair, that's a compliment. It doesn't sound like a compliment, but it's a compliment.
There's a high bar. I try my best to hit it.
So I think next, first of all, I saw a lot of comments when you started talking first, Joe. This dude should do ASMR and the likes.
I saw those too.
The creator of the show and the men we've tormented on our show for the last 5 years. Joe, tell us your thoughts on this evening, and I guess chill yourself out a bit.
Yeah, I mean, it was super fun. I really like, Vi very sort of mentioned the session 0. So the session 0 was all about, you're going to be hunting a serial killer. This is what the serial killer's done. This is his like weapon of choice, and this is what you're going to be looking out for. And like, here are your backgrounds. And I'm sort of knowing full well the serial killer's hardly going to be in it at all. I've spent the last few weeks reading through Ram and the Frost Maiden. We're going to be running it every week on twitch.tv/D&D and on our own Twitch channel as well. And I think we've got 9 more episodes with these characters. We're gonna have a different guest every week, and we're gonna play through this amazing book. This was an adventure I've written myself, but it's pulling from the comet that fell from the sky at the beginning is very much from the book itself. This is leading towards, or sort of foreshadowing, one of the adventures that we're going to do later. So yeah, it's an absolute blast.
Jump in here and just help out people in chat. If you do want to follow us every week, it's going to move to Sundays, and our Twitch is twitch.tv/doesItroll. Joe doesn't do the marketing; he does the creative story writing. So if you want to follow us, jump onto Does It Roll on Twitch and drop a follow.
Yeah, please do.
I'm going to throw it to you, Kuran, next. How did you find everything, and what do you do on the internets?
What do I do on the internet? I play with How We Roll. The game was really interesting. I found I have so many questions about my own character, because I was sort of told, you woke up and you don't know how you got here, and that's pretty much all I was given. So I know as much as anyone else. So there's this like underlying mystery that I want to kind of solve over the next 9 sessions or so. But I had a lot of fun. I thought this was a lot more horror than I thought it would be initially. Like it was very cool. I was like, when like to the gurgling noises and the mouth opening up wide and the tentacles, I was like, oh God, I slash in some sort of weird frenzy. It's like I was like, wow. Also having to roll with exhaustion is rough. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Maybe there won't be
yeah.
exhaustion next session. Wink, wink. No.
Absolutely no. So the way we're going to do it is we're going to be doing. So there'll be a gap in time between this story and the next story. So there'll be a chance for you all to rest up. But you can also do some of the kind of cool things that's in the game. You know, you can do the between session things. So you can go and hang out at a tavern. You can make some stuff. You can buy some stuff. You can research things. Like this will be in a completely different tower in the next one. So you won't be exhausted. Don't worry.
All right. So
Good stuff.
Niall, what about you? Let's get your thoughts on the games and Eoghan, who turned out to be really resourced compared to how I thought you were going to roleplay.
You know what?
like a bonfire.
He turned out a lot different than I thought I was going to play him too.
Bonfire OP, man.
Considering the fact that, he's a man of two extremes, either failing everything or just absolutely killing whatever he's doing. I had an absolute blast. I didn't expect it to be as hoary as it was. Like I thought it would be more, well, D&D but you kind of pulled in a lot of, the thing, it felt like a lot of the time, which is fantastic. It was fantastic. I'm really happy that we got to do this, and I am really looking forward to keeping it going for the next few weeks. And also, other than that, I don't really partake in the streaming stuff that Owen and Kuran do, and I think you'd also stream. But you can find me on the How We Roll Discord if you ever want to drop us a follow or anything like that. And I look forward to playing in this adventure some more moving forward.
Yeah, so on that note, I'm going to jump in and do my piece. But what I should have probably started this whole thing off was thank you to Wizards of the Coast and D&D for having us on.
Please, thank you.
Yes, really appreciate it.
Dream come true. It sounds too cheesy. The whole weekend they've planned is pretty amazing, guys. There's great groups coming up. You should follow it all. And Rhyme and the Frost Maiden seems to be an awesome release, and the Steer definitely down what makes us tick as a group towards the kind of horror thing type game. So it looks like it's going to be a fun weekend. As for me, I'm one of the How We Roll crew and How We Roll podcast. You can check us out there on any podcasts. I'm also part of the new Twitch channel we have, which is Does It Roll? Drop us a follow over there. And personally, I stream on How We Roll Own, which is what that name below me says, even though it doesn't look like it. I stream all sorts over there to silly games and stuff. It's been an absolute blast having this gameplay. I'm looking forward to the next 10 weeks. Or 9 weeks. This is number 10,
9
I
weeks,
guess.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw... We have 2 minutes before we have to throw it over to Adventurers Wanted. So I'm going to quickly ask a couple of questions from chat. The first one, Joe, is the horror theme going to carry on as heavy through the later episodes?
So we definitely tend to lean into the kind of investigative mystery horror, but it's definitely not going to be every episode. I think I want to do some of my own stories like I did tonight, but I also really want to do some of the really cool stories from Rhyme and the Frost Maiden. So I've got loads planned. I've already got the 9 sessions kind of planned out. Some of them are sort of one shots with hints towards the overall story. I guess you kind of picked up on some of the things that I dropped, particularly from the sort of serial killer guy. But some of them will be very much main quest. We're going to move along with some of the cool stuff that's happening. So to answer your question, there definitely will be a lot of horror, but there'll be some lighter moments as well. And I think next week we're going to be playing around with some kobolds, which I'm very, very excited about.
Okay. Another question from the chat, and I'm going to quickly answer for the sake of time. Are we all from the UK? Joe and V are from the UK. The other 3 don't like being called the UK. We're all Irish. Niall is based in Canada, and Kuran, you're currently based in Belgium?
Yeah, but I'll be
Right.
in the UK shortly enough. Yeah.
We're an international cast. And in terms of guests, we will have some American guests, Canadian guests, an Irish guest lined up. There's a few more people to confirm, but we're looking to have RPG personalities that we admire, that are friends of ours, promote different styles, cultures, whatever we can. It'll be fun stuff. I don't want to blow up anyone's spot, but if you follow us on Twitter, you'll see them get announced each week. Next week, it's the Total Party Trill guys who are from San Fran. I think that's pretty much it, guys. I think we're going to have to throw it over to the next show, which is Adventurers Wanted. Thank you very much to Wizards of the Coast again. Yeah. Thank you for everyone who watched us.
Thank you. This is awesome.
Thanks, you, Joe, everyone, for terrifying us.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, guys. See you later. Come back next week.
Yeah.